Hey guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Warriors Klay Thompson gets final injury update versus Spurs after surprise absence. Klay Thompson joined Jonathan Kuminga on the bench Friday as a surprise scratch for the Golden State Warriors matchup with the Charlotte Hornets. The Dubs, thankfully, barely missed a beat in his absence, with Andrew Wiggins and Moses Moody picking up slack left by Thompson and Kuminga in a 115-97 victory over arguably the worst team in basketball. The San Antonio Spurs have as many wins as Charlotte, but there's no doubt Victor Wembanyama alone presents more of a challenge than his team's record suggests. Is Thompson playing against the Spurs on Sunday? Thompson was initially listed as questionable to play in San Antonio due to right knee tendonitis, the same injury designation that sidelined him in Charlotte. After his team's win over the Hornets, Steve Kerr shed more light on the circumstances that led to Thompson sitting out. He said he felt it a little bit in the Orlando game, Kerr said of Thompson, per NBC Sports Bay Area. He thought he was going to be fine, but during warm-ups pre-game, it kinda stiffened up on him. Rick Celebrini worked with him on the table before the game and decided it was not a good idea for him to play. Kerr went on to confirm that Thompson's status for the Spurs game was TBD. Fortunately, he was upgraded to available over an hour prior to tip-off, per Monty Poole. The four-time champion played a key role in the Dubs' win over Orlando despite feeling some discomfort in his knee, finishing with 15 points on 6 of 13 shooting while also managing some key defensive stops down the stretch. Chris Paul started in Thompson's place 48 hours later, with rookie big man Tracy Jackson-Davis once again starting for Kuminga next to Draymond Green in the frontcourt. Kuminga was also listed as questionable versus San Antonio due to bilateral knee tendonitis but has since been ruled out. He's been out since Golden State's win over the Miami Heat on March 26 despite Kerr expressing optimism before the Orlando game that he might be able to play in Charlotte. Golden State enters Sunday's action at 39-34, good for the final play-in tournament spot in a heated Western Conference seeding race. The Warriors are a game and a half behind the Los Angeles Lakers for 9th and just one game up on the red-hot Houston Rockets in 11th, with games against both teams remaining. They already own the head-to-head tiebreaker over Houston, but can't say the same for Los Angeles even if they beat LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and company at Crypto.com Arena due to the Lakers owning a superior record against Western Conference foes. Is Thompson playing against the Spurs? Luckily, the answer is yes. When Kerr first realized Moody was wise beyond his years. Warriors guard Moses Moody is known amongst his teammates for not only his on-court savvy but also his off-the-court wisdom, routinely offering his sage advice in any situation. His coach, Steve Kerr, recalled on Sunday the first time he realized how mature the number 14 overall pick of the 2021 NBA draft really is, when Moody offered up a proverb during one of their initial conversations. Moody didn't say anything for the first week of training camp when we had him, not one word, Kerr recalled ahead of the Warriors game against the San Antonio Spurs. He wasn't going to be in the rotation and I didn't know much about him, and I went to have a talk with him and I ended up doing all the talking, you know. He still didn't say anything, and I didn't know what was on the other end. I was explaining his situation and he just nodded and I said, "What do you think?" And he thought for a second. He said, "My dad always said a smooth ocean doesn't make a steady sailor." And I was like, oh my God. That was like the first thing I ever heard him say. And it's like, what a great piece of wisdom. That's kind of who Moses is. He's so quiet. He reminds me so much of Kevin Looney, you know. He's very quiet, but he's just got a lot of wisdom. He understands process. When he doesn't play and he falls out of the rotation, he stays positive, he keeps working. He's a total pro. And it's only year 3. So it's very impressive. Moody's sage wisdom has benefited the Warriors, as his maturity has helped him remain ready for any role Kerr needs him in, whether that's in the starting lineup or off the bench. That demeanor has earned Moody praise from countless teammates, from former Warriors player Juan Toscano Anderson saying he wants his kids to grow up like the young guard to Chris Paul declaring Moody is one of his favorite teammates he has played with in his NBA career. "Moses is just a pro," Paul told reporters Friday after the Warriors' 115-97 victory over the Charlotte Hornets. "We have guys that go hoop days in between games, or the morning of a game they might go hoop. He'll hoop in the morning thinking that he might not be part of the rotation and then game time will come and coach will be like, 'You're starting.' He just stays ready. You have to appreciate somebody like Mo because a lot of guys would be pouting. 'Man, I ain't ready, I played this morning.'" Moody's professionalism certainly has made an impression on many, along with his play on the floor. And as Golden State makes its push for the NBA playoffs, the team needs all the wisdom it can get. NBA champion urges Warriors to trade Draymond Green. Draymond Green continues to receive a lot of backlash for getting ejected from a game against the Orlando Magic on March 27. After Stephen Curry's real-time reaction to the ejection stunned the NBA world, coach Steve Kerr put Green on blast for his unforgivable actions on the 95.7 The Game radio show. Seeing as Green's teammates haven't minced words about their growing frustrations with him, several insiders feel Golden State is preparing to part ways with the former Defensive Player of the Year. On the March 29 edition of First Take on ESPN, former NBA champion Kendrick Perkins urged the Warriors to pull the trigger on trading Green in the offseason. "It's time for the Warriors to part ways with Draymond Green," Perkins said. "Mike Dunleavy, Joe Lacob, Steve Kerr and Steph Curry, they're gonna have that tough conversation in the offseason. Because once a person shows you who they are, you have to believe them." Perkins believes Green is stuck in his ways and hasn't shown a willingness to improve as a teammate and locker room leader. The retired big man further implied that Golden State turned a blind eye to Green's past antics. When the Jordan Poole incident happened, Curry and Kerr had Draymond Green's back, Perkins stressed. Then, this year, what he did with Jusuf Nurkic, Steph Curry again had his back. Steve Kerr had his back. Now, Steph Curry is exhausted. The fan base of Golden State is exhausted. Steve Kerr is exhausted, and rightfully so. Draymond Green is not going to change. A day after his controversial ejection, Green apologized for his actions on the March 28 episode of The Draymond Green Show. The four-time All-Star refused to apologize for cussing out the referee but expressed remorse for leaving his teammates hung out to dry in a crucial game that could decide playoff seedings. "I said what I said and I deserved to get kicked out after that point," Green said. "If I'm all the way honest with y'all, I kinda was trying to turn my body and angle it and go to the bench. I said what I said a little too soon before angling my body to the bench." If the Mike Dunleavy-led front office does decide to trade Green, it would truly mark the end of an era. The trio of Green, Curry and Klay Thompson has the most NBA Finals victories in the last 50 years. It also ranks third in overall postseason wins with 104, trailing only the Spurs' Tim Duncan, Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili, 126, and Lakers' Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson and Michael Cooper, 110. And you, fan, what do you think of the situation of Draymond Green? Leave your opinion in the comments.